Why riding a goat is a terrible, horrible, no good idea. Seriously. Don't try it. Some ideas sound funny in theory, like riding a goat for laughs. But one woman learned the hard way why that's a very bad plan. The moment she climbed onto the small goat, it wasn't amused. Within seconds, it threw her off like a rodeo pro. And that was just the beginning. Before she could get back on her feet, the goat charged headfirst. It wasn't just annoyed, it was offended. She walked away with more than bruises. She got a crash course in respect for animals. Let's be clear, goats are not mini ponies. They're strong, stubborn, and don't take kindly to being treated like a ride at the petting zoo. This wasn't cute. It was reckless. So take this as your warning: animals aren't toys, and nature doesn't take jokes lightly. That goat didn't just react, it made a statement. Mess around and you'll find out. Why you should never underestimate a bobcat's ferocious power and killer instincts at first glance. A bobcat might look like an oversized house cat, but don't be fooled. These are wild, highly skilled predators with lightning-fast reflexes and razor-sharp instincts. One woman learned this the hard way. During a sudden encounter, panic took over. She yanked her dog's leash in fear, hoping to protect her pet, but that fear only made things worse. The sudden movement triggered the bobcat's instincts, escalating the threat for both her and her dog. This wasn't just a close call. It was a stark reminder. When you're dealing with wild predators, fear and sudden reactions can turn dangerous situations into deadly ones. Bobcats don't bluff. They don't hesitate, and they don't back down when provoked. Always keep your distance, stay calm, and remember, in the wild, underestimating an animal's power isn't just risky, it could be fatal. Why you should never interfere with a monkey's meal. A recipe for trouble feeding monkeys might seem like innocent fun until you try to take food away. One woman found this out the hard way when she zipped up her bag to stop a monkey from snatching her snacks. Big mistake. That one move turned a curious monkey into an aggressive adversary. Monkeys are fiercely territorial when it comes to food. What you see as protecting your lunch, they see as stealing theirs. And when they feel robbed, they don't back down, they lash out. Her panicked reaction only fueled the monkey's aggression, escalating what could have been a peaceful encounter into a full-blown showdown. Bottom line, when it comes to food, never challenge a monkey. Because once they feel provoked, there's no turning back. Why sitting next to a bear is a reckless, dangerous, and unforgivable mistake. It happened during what should have been a routine TV interview. A reporter, perhaps lulled into a false sense of safety, took a seat next to a leashed bear on live television. But within moments, that illusion shattered. Without warning, the bear snapped, its instincts overriding any illusion of control. What followed was chaos. The leash meant nothing. The handlers couldn't react in time. The bear's sudden aggression sent the situation spiraling, putting everyone in immediate danger. This wasn't a circus act. This was a raw, unfiltered reminder. Wild animals are never truly tame, no matter how calm they may appear. One wrong move, one sudden sound, and primal instincts take over. Let this be a wake-up call. Wild animals are not props. They are not. They're for entertainment. And trusting them in staged environments is not just naive, it's outright dangerous. Respect the wild, or it will remind you why it demands it. Why losing your temper around animals is a dangerous mistake you'll regret immediately. Animals read our energy, and when that energy turns tense or aggressive, things can go downhill fast. After a horse threw its rider, it was already on edge. But instead of calming the situation, a nearby woman's angry outburst made things worse, much worse. Her frustration didn't intimidate the horse. It provoked it. In seconds, the animal retaliated with force, proving that animals don't respond to anger, they react to it. When you lose your cool, they don't see you as in control, they see you as a threat. The takeaway? Never let your emotions take over around animals. Staying calm can mean the difference between a close call and a serious incident. Why treating tigers as photo props is a catastrophic mistake you'll regret. Petting a tiger for the gram might look thrilling, but it's reckless. One group learned this the hard way when a single snap of impatience flipped the script from cool vacation moment to raw terror. The tiger's icy stare zeroed in on a woman, and in that instant every tourist fantasy shattered. Tigers are apex predators, not amusement park mascots. The second you blur that line, you invite danger that no handler or selfie stick can hold back. Bottom line? Leave tigers to the wild or the professionals who protect them. Your thrill isn't worth their stress, and one wrong move can turn an exotic encounter into a nightmare with claws. Why underestimating angry monkeys can lead to a brutal wake-up call in China. One tourist made a dangerous mistake. She assumed the local monkeys were cute, playful, and harmless. But the moment she wandered too close and disrupted their space, their attitude changed fast and not in her favor. Within seconds, she was surrounded by a swarm of furious primates. What she thought would be a fun wildlife moment turned into a terrifying ordeal. These monkeys weren't looking for friendship. They were defending their territory with relentless fury. Monkeys may look charming, but never forget. They're wild, territorial, and quick to retaliate. Disrespect their boundaries, and you're not just risking a scare, you're inviting chaos. When a rogue stallion decides you're the enemy and won't let you forget it in the peaceful countryside of the UK, two women set out for a quiet ride along a public bridleway. But their calm outing took a terrifying turn when a rogue stallion appeared and decided they didn't belong. With no warning and no way to control him, the stallion charged. What began as a leisurely ride turned into a desperate dash for safety. His message was unmistakable. This is my territory, leave now or face the consequences. When wild instincts take over, there's no reasoning, no slowing down, only survival. Never assume you're safe just because the path is public. If a stallion feels threatened, he won't hesitate to make you his target. Why messing with a bull is a mistake you'll regret the moment it happens. A woman let her dog wander near a bull, thinking it was just another farm animal, slow, calm, maybe even curious. But bulls aren't pets, and they definitely don't play by human rules. The moment the bull locked eyes with her, the situation shifted from casual to critical. In an instant, its calm exterior turned into raw, unstoppable force. She learned the hard way. Bulls don't give warnings, they charge. Underestimating a bull isn't just careless, it's dangerous. One wrong move, one step too close, and you're in a fight you can't win. Always respect their space because they won't respect yours. Too. Why monkeys should never be pets. No matter how cute or cuddly they seem at first, it seemed harmless. A woman treated her pet monkey like a playful child. She cuddled it, dressed it up, even tried to calm it like a toddler during a tantrum. But monkeys aren't children. They're wild animals with instincts that no amount of affection contained. When the monkey suddenly lashed out, chaos erupted. Her home turned into a danger zone in seconds. No warning, no logic, just raw, unpredictable behavior driven by instincts millions of years in the making. Monkeys may look adorable, but they are not domesticated. Treating them like pets isn't just a bad idea, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Nature can't be trained out of them, and when it resurfaces, it does so with terrifying force. Why underestimating an aggressive rooster can leave you running for your life? It sounds ridiculous until it happens to you. A woman kept entering a rooster's pen, brushing off its repeated attacks as harmless. But this wasn't just a cranky Bird, it was a territorial fighter with zero tolerance for intruders. Each time she stepped in, the rooster came charging, wings flapping and spurs ready. She laughed at first. Then she started running, fast, because when a rooster decides you're a threat, it won't stop until you're gone. Don't be fooled by size. Roosters may be small, but their fierce determination and lightning-fast aggression can turn your day into a painful sprint. Respect the pecking order or be ready to lose the battle. Why getting too close to exotic animals is a painful mistake you'll regret instantly. It was supposed to be a lighthearted photo, a man urging his mom to pose with an exotic bird, confidently insisting it was tame. But wild animals don't care about confidence or cameras. The moment she got too close, the bird lashed out, turning a fun memory into a painful reminder. Wild means unpredictable. No matter how calm they seem, exotic animals have instincts you can't predict and reactions you can't control. Never let your guard down around wildlife, no matter how safe it looks. One careless moment can turn into a harsh, unforgettable lesson in respecting their boundaries. Why underestimating an angry goose can leave you humiliated and hurting. A woman casually strolled through what she thought was just a peaceful park path unaware. She'd crossed into a goose's territory. Big mistake. In seconds, that harmless bird turned into a feathered missile, wings flapping and beak aimed with laser focus. Geese aren't just noisy, they're fiercely territorial. And once they see you as a threat, there's no backing down. The woman's quiet walk turned into a full-blown scramble for safety, chased by an angry guardian who wasn't giving up. Never laugh off a goose's warning. These birds don't bluff and they don't forget. Cross the line and you'll learn firsthand just how furious and fearless a goose can be. Why getting too close to a camel is a risk you'll regret in seconds in Dubai. A woman leaned in for a photo with a camel, assuming it was harmless, especially with its mouth restrained. But she forgot one crucial fact. Restraint doesn't mean safety. The camel didn't stay calm. With a sudden lurch and a guttural roar, it made its displeasure crystal clear. What was meant to be a fun memory turned into a terrifying wake-up call. Camels are powerful, unpredictable animals. Even when they seem calm or controlled, they can react with force and fury. Don't be fooled by their slow movements or tourist-friendly appearance. One wrong move is all it takes to trigger a reaction you won't forget. Why trusting a wild monkey's sweet behavior is a mistake you'll regret instantly. An elderly woman thought a monkey's gentle hug was adorable, a heartwarming moment worth getting closer for. But in a flash, that sweetness vanished. The monkey's patience snapped. And so did the illusion of safety. What started as a cute interaction turned into a sudden chaotic outburst. Because wild monkeys aren't tame and their behavior isn't predictable. They might tolerate you 1 second and attack the next. Don't be fooled by charm. A wild monkey's friendliness is not trust, it's a ticking clock. Get too close, and you'll learn the hard way that in the wild, instincts always win. Why challenging a goose's territory is a mistake you won't walk away from easily filming. Geese by a peaceful pond might seem harmless until you cross an invisible line. One woman learned this the hard way when a goose decided she'd gotten too close. She ignored its warning signs, and that's when the real trouble began. With wings flapping and beak aimed like a missile, the goose launched into a relentless chase. Her calm moment turned into a frantic sprint, all because she underestimated how fiercely geese defend what's theirs. Don't mistake a quiet pond for a safe zone. When it comes to their turf, geese don't negotiate, they attack. Disrespect their space and you'll be lucky to escape with just your pride bruised. Why even expert caretakers are no match for an angry tiger's untamed power. A seasoned caretaker believed experience was enough to handle a tiger. But with one wrong move, that illusion shattered. What began as playful interaction turned into A flash of fury, and in that instant, control meant nothing. The tiger's raw power exploded without warning, and the situation spiraled toward deadly in seconds. Years of training couldn't stop what instinct unleashed. Because when a tiger feels threatened or disrespected, no one, not even a professional, is safe. Tigers aren't pets. They're apex predators fueled by primal instincts. No amount of expertise can tame that. Respect their nature or risk facing it head on. When cruelty meets courage, how one helpless kitten turned the tables, a woman struck a tiny kitten, certain it couldn't fight back. But the moment her cruelty crossed the line, the kitten's survival instincts sparked. Claws flashing and teeth bared, it transformed fear into fierce resistance, proving that even the smallest creatures carry a powerful will to defend themselves. Hurt the defenseless, and you might discover just how strong they really are. Why you should never mess with a hungry rooster's rage. Unless you want to get pecked. A woman thought she could playfully guide a hungry rooster to its food. Big mistake. This bird wasn't in the mood for games, it was starving, and it wanted results, not delays. Without warning, the rooster charged with relentless fury, wings flapping and beak ready for battle. What she thought was harmless teasing turned into a painful lesson in respecting animal instincts. Hunger amplifies aggression, especially in territorial animals like roosters. Don't mistake their size for weakness when food is involved. They become unstoppable. Delay their meal, and you might become the next target. Why turning your back on a cow can turn calm streets into combat zones in India. Two women strolled along a quiet lane, blissfully unaware of the cow edging closer behind them. The moment one woman slipped, everything changed. In a flash, the cow's calm facade vanished, replaced by a surge of unpredictable aggression that sent both women scrambling for safety. Cows may look gentle, but their bulk and strength make any sudden charge a serious threat. One lapse in awareness was all it took to turn a peaceful walk into a perilous confrontation. Lesson learned: never underestimate a cow's instincts. Stay alert, give them space, and remember that their anger can erupt without warning. Why getting too close to wild animals on camera is a disaster waiting to happen. During a live report, a journalist approached 3 loose llamas, assuming their calm demeanor meant cooperation. But wildlife doesn't follow scripts, and these llamas weren't there to entertain. In an instant, the mood flipped. The llamas turned aggressive, lunging and spitting, turning a polished broadcast into total chaos. The camera kept rolling, but the message was clear. Wild animals don't care about your story, they care about their space. No matter how harmless they seem, getting too close is always a gamble. When you treat wild creatures like props, don't be surprised when the scene turns into a headline of its own. Why keeping a lion as a pet is a terrifying mistake you'll regret too late. In Dubai, a woman laughed as a lion cub playfully nibbled her hand. It seemed harmless until the cub's instincts took over. In seconds, those cute nibbles turned into something far more aggressive, and the situation spiraled out of control. That's the danger. Lions may look tame when young, but they're born predators. No amount of training or affection can erase millions of years of wild instinct. What starts as play can end in serious injury or worse. Lions are not pets. They're powerful, unpredictable animals that belong in the wild or under expert care, not in your living room. One wrong moment is all it takes to learn that lesson the hard way. Why feeding an impatient rooster can turn a routine chore into a feathered frenzy. A woman swung open the coop door, feed bucket in hand, expecting a quick, easy task. Instead, her impatient rooster exploded forward, spurs flying, beak striking, before the first grain even hit the ground. Every attempt to calm him only stoked his fury, transforming a simple feeding into a frantic struggle for safety. Lesson learned: hunger turns a rooster into a relentless battering ram. Treat feeding time like child's play. and you'll discover just how fast routine chores become painful battles. Respect the bird's space or be ready to feel the wrath of a rooster that refuses to wait. What happens when you panic around a rat and instantly lose control in 2017? At a construction site in Vietnam, a woman spotted a massive rat and let fear take over. Instead of stepping back calmly, she panicked. In her frenzy to escape, she lost her footing and fell straight into a pit, turning a minor scare into a serious situation. Her reaction didn't just startle the rat, it put her in real danger. That's the risk of losing control around animals, no matter how small they seem. Panic clouds judgment, triggers accidents, and turns manageable moments into emergencies. The takeaway? Stay calm, stay aware, and never let fear drive your actions, because in moments like this, panic is far more dangerous than the animal itself. Why invading a sheep's space is a painful mistake you won't make twice in Australia. A tourist reached out and grabbed a sheep's ear, thinking it was just a bit of innocent fun. But the sheep didn't see it that way, and it made that crystal clear in an instant. With a sudden headbutt, the animal reminded everyone who really controlled the moment. What started as playful curiosity turned into a sharp lesson in respecting boundaries, animal boundaries. Sheep may seem gentle, but they're not here for your entertainment. Cross the line, and they'll show you exactly why even the calmest animals demand respect. When a tiny rooster humiliated a news reporter with fearless determination, it happened in 2012. What started as a lighthearted news segment quickly turned into an unexpected standoff. A reporter chuckled as a small rooster strutted toward her. But the bird wasn't joking. With fearless determination, the rooster launched into a full-on charge. To viewers, it may have looked funny, but for the rooster, it was a matter of pride and territory. And in that moment, size didn't matter, instinct did. This wasn't just a fluke, it was a powerful reminder. Never underestimate an animal defending its ground, no matter how small it seems. The reporter's laughter quickly faded as she realized this tiny warrior meant business. In the animal kingdom, confidence can come in claws and feathers. And sometimes, it's the smallest fighters who leave the biggest impression. The real danger at Gatorland isn't in the water, it's in the sky at Gatorland. Most eyes are locked on the water, watching the massive gators lurking below. But visitors quickly learn the real ambush doesn't always come from where you expect. As tourists tossed food toward the gators, the skies erupted. Opportunistic birds, fast, sharp, and unafraid, swooped in, snatching food straight from people's hands. Some even scratched or pecked in the chaos, turning a thrilling moment into a sudden frenzy. It was a startling reminder. In nature, danger comes from all directions. While everyone focused on the jaws below, the real battle was being waged overhead. So, if you ever visit Gatorland, don't just watch your step, watch the skies. Why you should never try to befriend a rooster without respecting its boundaries. It seemed harmless at first. A woman repeatedly approached a rooster, hoping to earn its trust. But she ignored the warning signs: puffed feathers, aggressive posturing, and sharp, focused movements. Roosters aren't just barnyard decorations, they're territorial defenders with powerful instincts. And when this one felt cornered, it didn't back down. It attacked fast, fierce, and without hesitation. What was meant to be a bonding moment turned into a painful lesson. You can't force trust from an animal that sees you as a threat. Trying to tame a rooster without understanding its limits isn't brave, it's reckless. Always approach animals with respect, not assumptions, because the moment you ignore their signals, you may find yourself on the wrong end of their instincts. Why you should never underestimate a caged animal's pent-up rage. It happened in seconds. A monkey, confined behind bars and surrounded by loud, taunting tourists, had finally had enough. Fueled by frustration and instinct, it forced its way threw a weak point in the gate and lunged. A nearby woman became the target, caught off guard by something she never expected. That the cage wasn't enough to contain real rage. Her critical mistake? Believing that a lock equals control. But wild animals don't forget what freedom feels like, and they don't forgive being mocked or provoked. Cages may hold bodies, but not instincts. And when stress builds up behind steel and noise, all it takes is one moment for control to collapse. Don't be fooled by barriers. A captive animal isn't tame, it's ticking. Why getting too close to a bison is a life-threatening mistake at Yellowstone National Park. The rules are clear. Keep your distance from wildlife. But some tourists ignored those warnings, surrounding a massive bison for a closer look and a perfect photo. Big mistake. What they forgot is that bison aren't slow, gentle giants. They're wild, territorial, and incredibly fast. In an instant, the bison charged. Screams followed. The peaceful moment turned into panic. That's the brutal reality. Wild animals don't care about your camera or curiosity. They care about space, instinct, and survival. And when you violate that space, you put your life and others at serious risk. Respect isn't optional in the wild. It's the difference between a memorable visit and a tragic one. Let me know if you want an even more dramatic tone for video narration or a shorter verse. Why you should never turn your back on a horse's unpredictable playfulness. In the world of horses, even play can turn dangerous in an instant. One trainer learned this the hard way. Focused on a nearby horse, she failed to notice another approaching from behind, full of playful energy. But in a stable, playful doesn't mean harmless. With one sudden move, a kick, a bump, a lunge, the horse reminded everyone just how powerful and unpredictable these animals can be. Her mistake? Turning her back. Around horses, that's never a good idea. No matter how trained or familiar they seem, horses demand your full attention. One lapse in awareness can turn routine handling into a serious accident. So here's the truth. With animals this strong and instinct-driven, distraction isn't just careless, it's dangerous. Never try to keep food from a monkey's determined grasp. What started as a casual moment turned tense in seconds. A woman tried to keep a bottle away from a curious monkey, but this wasn't a game. The monkey wanted it, and it wasn't backing down. With sharp focus and relentless determination, the animal advanced. The woman resisted briefly before realizing she was outmatched. She surrendered the bottle, not out of kindness, but out of fear. Here's the reality. Monkeys may look playful, but when they set their sights on something, they don't quit. And when food or objects are involved, their behavior can shift from bold to aggressive. Never underestimate their intelligence or their persistence. Because when a monkey wants something, it's not a question of if it will take it, but how far it will go to get it. Why you should never tease a llama with food and expect to walk away clean. It seemed like harmless fun. A woman waved food in front of a llama, laughing as the animal leaned closer. But what she didn't realize was that llamas don't play games when it comes to food. Frustrated and fed up, the llama responded the way llamas do best, with a well-aimed, foul-smelling spit that landed its message loud and clear. Don't test my patience. Teasing animals for entertainment isn't just disrespectful. It's a fast way to find yourself on the receiving end of their instincts. Llamas may look gentle, but when pushed, they react. So next time you're near one, remember, respect its space or risk wearing its warning. The angry crow that terrorized a neighborhood with relentless precision in 2023, an Ohio couple found themselves at the center of an unusual nightmare, a crow with a grudge. Locals had reported attacks, but no one expected just how calculated the bird could be. As the couple approached their front door, thinking they'd made it to safety, the crow struck fast, sharp, and unprovoked. It hadn't forgotten. It hadn't forgiven. And it had been watching. Crows are more than just birds. They're intelligent, territorial, and capable of remembering faces. This wasn't random behavior, it was a targeted campaign. The lesson? Never underestimate the memory or the wrath of a crow. Once you're on its list, no place feels truly safe. Trapped by a mischievous monkey that refuses to let go, what started as a playful moment quickly turned into a nightmare. A tourist stood frozen as a cheeky monkey climbed onto her head, tugging and playing with her hair like it owned the place. Panic crept in, but she stayed still, hoping the monkey would lose interest and leave. She couldn't have been more wrong. The monkey wasn't done. It had other plans, unyielding, curious, and utterly relentless. What seemed like innocent fun became a test of patience and nerves. This is a clear warning. Monkeys may look cute, but they're wild animals with their own rules. Underestimating their mischief can leave you trapped in a moment you won't forget.